Hey everyone, it's Greg here. In this video, I want to talk about something I've been doing. Did some testing with it, and I was getting some pretty good results. Got a little thrown off by the de-indexing that happened, but as I was doing, I was seeing some pretty good results for sites that were somewhat like stuck in the search engines. So I just wanted to pass this along. It's something I call stringing. Okay, and here's an example site here. The URL would be, like GrEGsChiro.com. If it was like a chiropractic type website we're trying to rank. Let's say we were trying to rank for Dallas Chiropractor, so of course I would put that right there. I just put I could put a brand for the second thing, but in the title I got my main keyword here. Of course, we could take advantage of more keywords instead of using this. I'm just making this simple and going after Dallas Chiropractor. All right, so since we don't have Dallas Chiropractor in the domain name, we technically could, our anchor text here, we technically could go after Dallas Chiropractor right away, and that could be our first anchor text. But if you want to be a little safer, you can start off with like a long tail anchor text, or even just using like a branded anchor text to start, just to get that trust underway. It's up to you what you want to do. You'd probably be fine being aggressive and just going right after this right away. But if you want to be safe, put in something like a branded anchor text or a longer anchor text like, a chiropractor in the Dallas area, something like that. Or you can start off with branded. Either one. Either one's fine. Alright, so that's just the super safe way. Start off with something here, either branded or long, and then, of course, we start going after this main keyword because it's not in the domain name. If this was an exact match domain, we wouldn't be doing this for at least a few anchor text in. But since it's not in the domain name, we can get away with more optimization, so we can go after that first or second link. Alright? Next one, something like chiropractor in Dallas. And then maybe we do Dallas TX chiropractor. And again, if you want to be safe, you can throw in a longer anchor text. You don't have to do that, but that's just to be safe. Alright. Let's say chiropractor in Dallas, Texas. So now we've hit a lot of the keyword and LSI keywords. You could like try Dallas chiropractors. Just add like an S on the end of chiropractor. You could do like Dallas, Texas chiropractor. But, say we've done all of this and it's still not where we want it, and I've had a few sites like this happen, what I'll start doing is something I call stringing, where I'll string together the two terms with different anchor text. So, for example, I might do like chiropractor, just chiropractor, and then like serving Dallas, Texas. In Dallas, Texas. Trusted chiropractors. Now, what I mean by stringing here is Google seems to be looking at anchor text like this and stringing it together. For example, they see chiropractor for one, and then they see serving Dallas, Texas for another anchor text, and they kind of string that together. A chiropractor serving Dallas, Texas. This site has to do with a chiropractor in Dallas, Texas. So they kind of string that together. And I'm seeing this for some, just analyzing competitors. I'm seeing this more where people are using stuff like this and it's working for them pretty well. Because I mean, that's somewhat natural, and I think Google's getting smarter where they're saying, we're not just going to give someone credit for the exact keyword, but if they have chiropractors and they also have Dallas, for example, let's do this exact one here, Dallas chiropractors. If you have like Dallas for one, and then you have chiropractors for one, it seems like what they're doing is, we're not just going to give them credit when they have an exact match, but when they have Dallas for one, then chiropractors for one, we're going to string that together. It's about Dallas chiropractors in Dallas. So it seems like they're stringing together anchor text now. They're kind of looking at the whole picture even more now, and they're kind of stringing this stuff together. So, again, something that I don't use it until a site seems to be stuck, and I've used a lot of like the combinations for anchor text I'm targeting. We do this all the time. Dallas chiropractor in Dallas. Then we'll add in state name, Dallas TX chiropractor, Dallas Texas chiropractor, chiropractor in Dallas TX, chiropractor in Dallas Texas. And we mix it all up like that. If you used all of them and you still don't have what you want, maybe you can go and hit an exact anchor again and see what that does for you, or you can start going to this stringing type stuff, because this has moved some sites pretty good for me. And again, I see some competitors using it, and it's working well for them. All right, it's just a new little thing that seems to be going on. I wanted to update everyone on it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this helps you move some sites. If you have any that are stuck, I would work this in. It seems to work very well. And on top of that, it makes the anchor text look more natural, and you're also switching up your anchor text more, right? So, all right, hopefully this was helpful, and I will talk to you all soon. Hey everyone, it's Greg here. In this video, we're going to be covering something very important. That's URLs and anchor text, which are the two most important things when it comes to over-optimization or optimizing your website. Those are the two things right now that Google's looking at the most by far. After those, it's probably anchor text is most important, then URL. Of course, the combination of both is important as well. And then it goes to titles, and then description. That seems to go to your in-page content. But when I'm worrying about over-optimization, I'm mostly looking at URLs and anchor text for this particular thing. There is over-optimization where you can have too much in your title, URL, and description. I'll cover that as well. But over-optimization, for the most part, we're mainly looking at URLs and anchor text. Okay, so let me get the first one out of the way first. We'll get the title thing out of the way, because people get this confused where they think their title has a lot to do with over-optimization when most of the time it doesn't. So what I want to do is just cover when it would have to do with over-optimization, when you would have to worry about your title. Okay, so let's bring up an example here. You can see this URL is e-cigarette brands. Okay, now, so this URL right here is kelcast.com/e-cigarette brands. Okay, so the keyword I have in my URL is e-cigarette brands. I have to be aware of that. All right, so if I put my title as e-cigarette brands, okay, and then in my description I had e-cigarette brands, like times 3 times, or maybe even 2, but maybe 3. I've had this happen to sites where if it matches URL, matches title, matches description a few times, and of course if you have it in your anchor text, that leaves you much more open to over-optimization. Okay, if everything's matched, if you have the URL keyword exactly in your title and exactly in your description, exactly in your anchor text, that's when the title does come into play. Okay, but the way we set up our titles, or the way I'm going to teach you to set up your titles, you won't have this problem. Okay, so don't worry about your titles as long as you're setting up the way we show you. They won't be matching your URL because we're using all the tools to rank for as many keywords as we can. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. You can see this URL that I have set up is e-cigarette brands again. Notice what the title is. The top electronic cigarette brands, or separator, best e-cig reviews. And let me show you what I'm doing here. This is very, very powerful right now, and I expect it to be powerful for a long time to come, because most people don't know about this. Alright, the top electronic cigarette brands, best e-cig reviews. That's my title right now. I've had this title for a while. Obviously, this site's doing great. Doing an average of $700-800 a day right now. Right now it's October 2013. So what I'm doing here is I have my URL set. Okay, e-cigarette brands. So that takes care of that keyword. Not only does it take care of that keyword, but it takes care of this version of electronic cigarettes. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking ahead of time all the keywords I want to rank this URL for, and I'm including the most important ones in my title, but of course I still want my title to make sense. So right here, I know that I want to also rank for electronic cigarette, okay, so I can rank for e-cigarette and electronic cigarette much easier now. And I also want to rank for e-cig, okay, because these are the 3 biggest versions of this keyword: electronic cigarette, e-cig, and then e-cigarette, all right. There's also electric cigarette, but that's not used as much as these 3, so that's why I included these 3 different versions. Next thing is I want to rank for anything with best in it, like best e-cigarette brands, best electronic cigarette brands, all that, so I have best in my title, okay? Same thing, I want to rank for top as well. Anything top electronic cigarette brands, top e-cig brands, top e-cig, anything like that. Now, this URL, I would have set this up differently, but I set this up many months ago, so I didn't really have this mindset back then, or I didn't know as much as I did right now. So I would have set this up different, where I would have said this URL to go after all e-cigarette brands related keywords, and then I would have set up a different URL such as like e-cigarette reviews to go after everything that's about e-cigarette reviews, you know, like best e-cig reviews, electronic cigarette reviews. But we set it up on this one. Well, this URL started ranking for those types of keywords like e-cig reviews, so we just started targeting this URL for those keywords as well. But just know that right now, if I did a new site, I would do it differently, where I'm targeting the e-cig reviews type keywords to a e-cigarette reviews URL, and I would leave all the e-cigarette brands keywords to this URL right here. That way I could do a little more with my title. I could maybe do a synonym for brand in there. But since this URL is targeting all e-cigarette brands and e-cigarette review type keywords, I also want reviews in my title. Okay, because that helps me rank for anything with reviews or review. More for reviews because the exact keywords in my title, but it also helps me rank for review. Alright, so notice what I'm doing here. Again, I'm using synonyms. I got e-cigarette, electronic cigarette, and e-cig. So I'm trying to put as many versions as I can in my title URL combination without going overboard. This isn't going overboard. And then, I want anything with best in it. Those are great keywords. Top, anything with the in it, brands, and reviews and review. Okay. And if we go to Google right now, just best electronic cigarette. Here we are right here, number 2. This is a search that gets 8,100 searches a month, okay? Best electronic cigarettes, number 1. Best electronic cigarette brands, number 3, okay? Electronic cigarette brands. This is another big one. Number 4. Stuff like e-cigarette reviews, huge keyword. There we are at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And this gets like 15,000 searches a month. Electronic cigarette reviews, huge keyword, number 3. Alright, so notice how I have all these combinations in my URL and in my title. So not only does doing this help you rank for more keywords, but it also helps you avoid over-optimization. You're not saying the top e-cigarette brands, best e-cigarette reviews, e-cigarette brands, and then in your title e-cigarette, e-cigarette, e-cigarette. You're doing combinations: e-cigarette, e-cig, electronic cigarette. Maybe in your description you can do electric cigarette since you didn't use that in the title. Just be aware of that. How you can really use your title and URL combinations to rank for so many more keywords. Okay. And again, I want to make sure people know that I would not go after the e-cig reviews on this URL now. Again, I would set up a totally different URL for those keywords at something like this. Okay. And then the title for that would be something like, the top electronic cigarette reviews, best e-cig review 2013. Okay, so now what this is going to help me rank for, there's e-cigarette, electronic cigarette, best, top, so any combination with that, and it's going to work. E-cig, we got reviews and review in here. See, because if I separated these 2 keyword groups, I could have got reviews and I could have got review in my title, and that would give me a little more power. Okay, and I can also get like 2013 in there. I could have done more with the brands one, but again, since this started ranking for these types of keywords like electronic cigarette reviews, we just started going after it for that URL. Okay, but if I split them up into different URLs where I target all the electronic cigarette brands for this one and all electronic cigarette reviews keywords to this one, I could have got even more power through my titles by having more room, doing stuff like this. And then up here I could have done like, the top electronic cigarette brands, best e-cigarette brand 2013, something like that. Because then I have anything with 2013 in it's going to rank better. Anything with the singular of brands going to rank better. So I would just give myself a little extra room for improvement there if I set it up that way. So just make sure you know ahead of time what your URL is going to be, what it's going to target, because then you can really set up your titles in a way that's going to help you rank like crazy. You can get all the variations of the keyword in there, all the extra keywords like best and top in there, 2013, and stuff like that, okay? So that's how we set up our URLs and our title combos. Whatever's in the URL, you try to pick synonyms for it in the title, as well as using extra keywords like best, top, 2013. And of course, it depends on your niche what those extra keywords are going to be. Excuse me, you got to do your keyword research and look into that and see what it's going to be. Okay, so now let's go to over optimization of URLs as far as exact match domains or keywords in your domain. Okay, because this is something we want to avoid. So let's say we have the URL weightlosscenters.com. Okay, so that means our EMD is weight loss centers. When you have an EMD or a keyword in your domain, you want to avoid repeating it over and over and over again in your URLs. And the reason I know this is because I had sites taken out where I had them set up. It was for a client, and they were set up like this, and it would be like weightlosscenters.com, and then it would be like weight loss programs in Alabama. Okay, even if it doesn't match exactly, it's still a synonym, and they catch on to that. And then I'll do the same thing for the next state. Weight loss. Maybe at this time I do weight loss centers. Okay, and then same thing for the next state. Weight loss, say like facilities in Arizona. Okay, and that's how I set up all my URLs, where I kept repeating this keyword in my inner URL structures. Okay, and all the sites that I set up like that got hit pretty good. Okay, now if I set up the site like this, and I had both versions, I had plenty of sites for both versions. If I just did this, then these sites did not get penalized. Okay, and that's very important, because what it tells us is they're looking at the domain keyword, especially if it's 3 words or more. If it's less than 3 words, they're being a lot more lenient with it. If it's 2 words, you get more wiggle room. If it's 1 word, you get a lot more wiggle room. But if it's 3 words or more, and this is weight loss centers, then something like this got hit pretty hard. When you set them up like this, when you keep repeating the keyword, because it's not really necessary. All right. And all my sites were local for that, so it could be different for affiliate, but I doubt it. But just be aware of that. All the sites that got hit for me were local. And even if it's not a local site, I'm not repeating my domain keywords, especially if they're 3 words or more, in my inner URLs too many times. And of course, also ties into anchor text. If they see all that, okay, he's repeating the keyword in the domain in his URLs, like every URL, and then he also has anchor text that has this, that's more credit towards over optimization, where you're more likely to get hit. So the more you repeat these keywords, inner URLs, and the more anchor text you have that includes these keywords, the more likely you are to get hit. So it just all adds to over optimization. Doing this gives you a greater chance for over optimization than doing this with anchor text that says these keywords leads to an even greater chance. It all increases your chances. Doesn't mean you'll definitely get it, but the more you do these types of things that we want to avoid, the more likely you are to get hit with over optimization. Okay, so again, if you have an EMD, be very careful repeating it in your inner URLs too many times, because the more you repeat it, the more open you're leaving yourself to over optimization. Don't worry about it as much if it's 2 words. Still be aware of it. And if it's 1 word, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. 1 word's not a big deal most of the time. So that's what you want to avoid. That's what I know 100% got hit, because I have sites got hit like that every single. I had a good 40 sites where 20 were set up like this, and 20 were set up this way, and all 20 of these stayed in place or moved up. All 20 of these dropped. Okay, so I know 100% that is something they're looking at, is EMDs being repeated too much in the inner URL, or keywords in the domain being repeated too much in the inner URL. 1 or 2 keywords, again, it gets more leeway. 3 keywords or more, they really get strict on. Alright, so that's another URL thing we have to watch out for. Now let's go over anchor text. how you set up your anchor text depends on if you have an expired domain that already has anchor text going to it, or links going to it with anchor text, obviously, or if you do a brand new domain, because there's two different approaches there. Now, you may have watched my video on expired domains for money sites already, or may not have. And if you have, you may or may not have caught on to me saying that I look for branded anchor text in my expired domains for money sites. And the reason for that is we're all set up already. Okay, not only do we have an aged domain with links going to it, but those links have a lot of branded anchor text. And what does that do? It gives us a lot of wiggle room right off the bat for over-optimization, because it's a lot more wiggle room. If we do keyword, 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 it doesn't matter because we already have hundreds of links with branded anchor text for our new site that were there before because it's an expired domain. Okay, let me give you an example. Qzx911. Let's go to Open Site Explorer. Let's take a look at these links. None of these links were built by me. These are all links, or I say almost none of these links were built by me. Almost all of these links you're going to see were previously built by the previous owner. I bought as an expired domain for $100, and I'm all set up with this branded anchor text already in place. And I can't believe no one talks about this. I can actually, because the few people that probably know about it or realize it won't discuss it. But it's so powerful because it not only do you get the power from those links again and the age and the domain, but you're set up for avoiding over optimization. I mean, just look at the anchor text of this site. No anchor text is good as well, by the way. Qzx, this is branded anchor text. Okay, Qzx branded anchor text, partially branded anchor text, partially branded. Generic. This type of stuff helps as well. No anchor. Branded, branded, branded. Home is good. No anchor, image link, that's good. Branded, branded, branded. And this is what I love seeing when I find expired domains for money sites. Of course, like I went over in that video, they got to be good links. The domain name matters. But when I see a lot of branded anchor text, I'm jumping for joy because I know that I can go in and I can start building links right away with money keywords, and I can get away with it a lot more. I can just do money keyword, money keyword, money keyword, money keyword, as long as you're varying them up, and we'll talk about that now. Okay, so we're going to cover anchor text for the expired domains first that already have branded anchor text going to it, and then we'll swing back to brand new sites. So when I'm building my links, let's take this example again. Okay, the e-cigarette brands ones. Remember, we got this right here. Okay, and then the title is the top. I should have just left this here. Top electronic cigarette brands, best e-cig reviews. Okay, so I mean, what you can do if you want is write down the keywords you're trying to rank for. But I already know, just kind of in my head what I'm trying to rank for when I set something up by the URL and by the title. And I look at this and I know I'm trying to rank for e-cigarette brands, electronic cigarette brands, best electronic cigarette, best top, everything with best and top, the electronic version, e-cig version, electric version, e-version with anything else, plural and non-plural cigarette. E-cig reviews, e-cigarette reviews, e-cigarette review. So those are all the stuff I want to rank for, okay? So as soon as, when I have an expired domain, as soon as I start the site, I can start firing off links for money keywords, okay? But the trick is, you want to change it up a little bit each time, okay? And let me tell you what I mean there. And the other thing I do is I stay away from using the URL keyword as anchor text until later on. So I won't do e-cigarette brands as an anchor text until a little bit later on. That's just something I always avoid just in case. It doesn't mean you will get hit, just something I do just in case, the way they're looking at URLs. So, no, the first one might be electronic, or actually I'll start with something a little longer, like best electronic cigarette brands. Okay, and that will be my first link. Okay, next one I might do top e-cigarette reviews. Okay, and notice what I'm doing here is I'm getting best in here. I'm getting electronic. I got top. I got e. I got reviews, brands. So I'll consider that, and the next one I'll do like the best e-cigarettes review. Okay? So I start with like a little longer anchor text like that. So those would be my first 3 links. And then I'll start going to, the bigger ones. So now we'll just do like, let's say, e-cig reviews. I'll just do e-cig review. Alright, next one might be e-cigarette reviews. Since I used review here, I'm going to go with the plural version right here. I used e 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, so I'm going to go back to electronic. This one I might do, let's say, and I'm just looking at my variations here that I'm using, all the stuff I'm trying to rank for. So let's say best electronic cigarette reviews. Okay. Next one I might do electronic cigarette reviews. Or review, since I use reviews here. And little stuff like that doesn't matter. I could have done electronic cigarette reviews, but I just try to look at everything. Alright, notice what I'm doing here. I'm putting all my keywords in my anchor text, but I'm just switching up a little bit each time. Okay, a little bit each time, little bit each time. Each anchor variation just has a little variation. Okay, even if it's even the next one could be electronic cigarette reviews, and that's still fine because it's not this. That's not the same anchor text. This is a different anchor text. It's similar, it's very similar, but it's different, and you can do that. So this is the stuff I do. I change the anchor text each time. I make sure I'm aware of what I built before, and I'll just do something different for the next time I build the link. Okay? So next one, maybe I'll do e-cigarette review, because I don't have that version. I have the reviews version, but not review. We can do electric cigarette brands. Haven't used the electric yet, so I can use that. Alright, so I'll keep doing that, and I'll switch it up, switch it up, switch it up. I'll take a look at my rankings, and let's say, for some reason, I'm ranking very good for e-cigarette reviews. Okay? Well, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would be fine to hit this again now. Okay? And I could do that. Because what I'll do is I'll take a look at my rankings, whatever's ranking well. Maybe I'll build another anchor text for that now. Okay? But I'm going to stay away from this one in particular, again, for at least another 10 links. I don't go above 10% for any keyword. That's my rule. So now maybe I can go back. Maybe I'm ranking good for maybe I'm ranking really good for electric cigarette reviews, so I'll go ahead and build a link for that. Or let's say I'm ranking decent for it, so I know I can get a really good bump from an exact anchor text with that. I haven't built that anchor text yet, so that would really help me. So I look at where I'm ranking, what anchor text I use, and I try not to use it again if I don't have to. If there's other versions I can use, I'm going to use them. Okay, all right. I haven't used best e-cig yet. Best e-cig. Haven't used best e-cigs yet. There's best e-cigs. All right. Now, I can do stuff like e-cigarette reviews. Review. Okay, since I use this, these are very, very similar. I would use that twice. I can use it with the dash and the singular version right here, because the dash helps change the anchor text up. All right. So that's how I do my anchor text. I keep switching up a little bit each time. The less URL link, the less branded anchor text you have going to your site, if it's an expired domain, the more I would work in URLs every once in a while. For this particular site, Qzx, I think this URL right here has about 50 links going to it, and I think I worked in URL links like once or twice. I'm able to do that because I have a lot of branded anchor text going to the site in general. Okay, and on top of that, you don't necessarily need branded anchor text if you switch up your keywords a little bit each time, because they're seeing a whole bunch of different anchor text. But I still work in branded anchor text just to be safe, just kind of thinking of the future. You could probably even do a little more than I do, but you can get away with no branded anchor text if you're switching up the keyword a little bit each time, like I'm showing you right here. Okay, so now if we have a site, let's say this is a brand new site. So let's say brand new site, e-cigarette brands. Now, if it has no branded anchor text going to it, you're going to have to be a little more careful, okay? You know, you're probably going to build some more links to your home page with branded anchor text, build more with this one. But for this URL right here in particular, you know, I might even start with like a branded anchor text. Like that might be my first link. And then I might do something like, you know, just to kind of get off on the right, like, then we could actually go to a money keyword, you know, best electronic cigarette. Okay, something a little longer like that. Then maybe we can go to like, you know, like e-cigarette. We'll do the brand in there, Qzx e-cigarette review. Okay, because that helps get us our brand in here and a keyword. Then I might do like keyword, and then maybe hit another branded anchor text again. Okay, so if you have a site that's, again, not an expired domain that already has branded anchor text going to it, you're doing the same thing. You're changing up the anchor text a little bit each time, but you're going to have to, you don't have to, but I would work in branded anchor text and stuff like that more often. You know, you can even do stuff like, you know, work in like website, stuff like that in. Again, you don't have to if you're switching up the keyword a little bit each time for the most part, but I would do it just thinking of the long term just to be safe. Okay, so you're doing the same thing, but you're just working in more branded type anchor text, you know, website, stuff like you see right here. Because sites that are set up like this, from the get-go, again, it's just one of the best kept secrets in SEO, because you see what I've done with Qzx. I pretty much attacked the site with all money anchor text. And I'm not saying that won't work for a brand new domain as long as you switch up the keywords each time, but you're leaving yourself more open to get hit with some kind of penalty for having no branded anchor text. Again, I'm not saying it will happen. I have brand new sites that I've done the same thing for that rank fine, but when you have that brand anchor text there, it gives you a lot more comfort, it gives you a lot more wiggle room, and it's just unbelievably powerful. All right. So that is how we do our anchor text and our URLs. You know, hopefully you learned a lot. Make sure you follow what I showed you in this video, because it's very, very powerful. Not many people know exactly, you know, how to set up URLs with titles and how to, you know, switch up the anchor text a little bit each time. Because when you do that, you know, when we go back to this, like best electronic, let's say this will make it easier. So let me actually do a different example. This will help you understand why this is so powerful. E-cigarette reviews, electronic. When you have, let's say this is our 3 anchor text. When you have this, these version, like this version, e-cig, Google knows that this is a synonym of e-cigarette and it's a synonym of electronic cigarette. Okay, they know that. They know synonyms. So when they see this, you're getting the most credit for this. This is going to help you rank the best for e-cig review, but it's also going to help you rank for e-cigarette review and electronic cigarette review, because they know that these two are a synonym of e-cig. Okay? So when you do your anchor text like this and you change it up a little bit each time, you're getting a lot of credit for this, but you're also giving yourself credit for all the different variations. You know, e-cig reviews, e-cigarette review, e-cigarette reviews, electronic cigarette review, electronic cigarette reviews. You're getting a little bit of credit for each of those as well. So now when I do this, here's a bunch of credit for this one, but I'm also getting credit for this and this, okay, because they know synonyms. So when you do this, it's so powerful because you're switching up a little bit each time. You're not over-optimizing for one keyword, but you're kind of hitting everything when you do this. You know, you're getting a bunch of credit for this here, and then you're getting a little bit of credit for this when you do this one and this one. So it all builds up without over-optimizing any of your anchor text. Extremely, extremely powerful. Again, no one is really teaching this right now. It's so powerful when you're building your links. It's unbelievable. All right. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please follow what I showed you with the titles and URL combinations. Get all the variations you can. Avoid having your domain keywords in your URLs too many times. Be aware that they're combining URLs and anchor text. So if they see, you know, something in your URL too many times, or in your domain and in your URLs too many times, and then also in your anchor text too many times, they're going to be more likely to hit you with over optimization. Just be aware of that combination of URL and anchor text, and then of course be aware of how to do your anchor text, where you switch up money keywords a little bit each time. You can use tons of money keywords for your anchor text. Just switch it up each time a little bit. E-cig review, e-cigarette reviews, e-cigarette reviews, electronic cigarette review, electronic cigarette reviews, electronic cig review. A little bit each time, that's all you need to do, and you can avoid getting the over-optimization penalty for anchor text, okay? If you work in branded anchor text and stuff like website as anchor text, it's going to help you even more. You know, it's going to help you feel safer. It's going to probably help you more in the long run, and that's why getting expired domains with branded anchor text already to them is so powerful. All right. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Talk to you soon.